Hey everybody, hope we're all having a great night. So, my last video, this is part 2, leadership. You know, when you're in a leadership role, and I even told the young guy this too. I'm like, if when you're in a leadership role, you are held to a high standard, right? When a company or a business hires you to do the job of and be a leader, your job is to lead. So if you don't know the job and every job that's within the realm of your leadership, that should be brought up on. So that way everybody knows, okay, yeah, he doesn't have or she doesn't have a whole lot of experience in one of these fields, right? But at the same time, the leader should know every role that he's providing leadership over, right? Um, as a non-com, as a non-commissioned officer, I had to be able to direct over all the people within my section, whatever they were doing, right? So if I didn't know the job really well, I'd find a foremost expert and I would learn off of him. So that way I could get up to par on what I needed to do, right? So more or less, a student becomes a teacher, and a teacher becomes a student, right? That's how you learn from each other. So if you're not familiar with one of the roles that you're over, find somebody in that role and learn from them, or at least get some peripheral knowledge of it, right? Remember, when you're in a leadership role, your primary function is to lead by example, right? Lead by example. It's a pretty simple concept. Lead by example. And I got this guy. I got this guy was probably mid-20s, maybe pushing 30. Um, I got him really thinking. He's like, man, all right, yeah, okay, that's a lot of information. I'm like, well, just keep it simple. Just keep it simple. If you're going to your leadership and they're not doing their job, find the next person that's in charge and go and chew on his ear for a minute. And I don't mean literally chew on his ear. I mean sit down with the guy or girl and express what's going on, so at least they're aware of it. Because let's just face it, if your leadership aren't doing their job, chances are they're not communicating that with the next person up the line, because they don't want anybody to know that they're not doing this stuff. They're just gonna jot it down that it was done. I've seen that a lot too. Don't let it fool you. I'm gonna add a little story into this too, and as I was telling this gentleman the story too, he's just like, wow. So years ago, I had a situation with a job that I was working. I was working in security at the time, and the job that I was working um, wouldn't allow me time off for my duty for the military. Wouldn't do it. Wouldn't do it. And I had to make a choice. I had to make a choice either between my military service, which I signed my name on the contract, right? So I was duty bound and obligated to show up, or show up to my shift at work, right? So I had to get a hold of all my direct leadership. I even went as high up as my captain, my company commander, right? And they were all furious. But They couldn't just march into my boss's office and give him the what for, right? They had to go up other lines in order to do it correctly. But I communicated with my direct supervisors and my command team, and we had to get a hold of a JAG lawyer. And so a JAG lawyer had to bring himself all the way down from his office wherever he was at, and well, let's just say this JAG lawyer pretty much reamed my supervisor up one side and down the other. And all he had to do, he walked in, gave him a few words of encouragement, positive reinforcement. JAG lawyers are not friendly, just so we all know. But all he did was just slid a piece of paper across my boss's desk with a bunch of signatures on it and said, if you do not give this soldier the time off he needs, this is what's going to happen to you. So, so needless to say, I got off from I got off of my shift to go and do my duty. But after that, it was nothing but flack, and I ended up having to leave the job. Nothing but flack after that. Nothing but flack. Because I intimidated him. Because I showed the initiative to do the right thing, and he saw it as a direct threat. Perfect example of a crappy leader. Crappy leader. And as this young gentleman heard this story, he's just like, dude. I'm like, yeah, it had to go that high. To give you an idea of the level of leadership that a lot of these places are dealing with out here. And he just literally scratched his head at me. He's like, damn, dude. I'm like, yeah. Yeah. Leadership, man. When you're in a when you're in a role, man, like you either do the right thing, or you're potentially putting someone in a compromising spot. When people are looking to you to do the right thing, it's absolute. You can't say, I don't want to do this. I guess you can. But if you don't want to do the job, then why are you there? So me and this young guy, we talked for a little while longer. He's like, man, you've given me a lot to think about, man. There's a lot here, and I'm like, that's why I wrote some of this stuff down for you, man, so that way you can know how to go about doing it. And I wish you much luck, man. I hope you get your situation figured out. It's a bad spot to be in when you're under people that don't want to do things right. But after that, we stood up, we shook hands, and that was it of it. But, all my good people, I love you guys. Have a great night. Till next time.